So, we're going to look at climate change and save the environment, because it's all the same thing. It's all about the Jews trying to save their own skin. I'm sorry, the Drakientas. So, the word climate in Hebrew, it means a prevailing condition or set of attitudes in human affairs. It has nothing to do with the weather. So we know that climate control is controlling a prevailing condition or set of attitudes, i.e., example given, the way that people view the Jews. That's number one. Oh, we have to save the environment. Well, what does the word environment mean? In Hebrew, the word for environment, I can't pronounce that. It means going around. Well, that's interesting. That would be called a cycle, isn't it? Right? That's called a cycle. Stupid pop-ups. It's called a cycle. Now let's go over here. Now, there's different slang words for Jews, for Drakientas. Like Drakienta. That nobody knows that one except us. Oh, they know it, but now you know it. A kike, they said, is an anti-Semitic, inappropriate, invoking the Holocaust, and uses a derogatory word for Jews. Kike is an ethnic slur for a person. It is absolutely not an ethnic slur. A kike, when the Drakientas came to New York and the immigration, to get through, they had to sign their name. And here's how they signed it. Jewish immigrants drew a circle. So I'm going to draw a line from here to here. They drew a line. Drew a circle as the signature on the entry form. The Yiddish word for circle is kike. Now, how in the hell is that anti-Semitic? You see how they change shit? And then they give you a new version of what it really is. Do you understand? So, saving the environment means saving the cycle for them. Climate change, they're worried about the climate change because they keep telling you, oh, 1.5 degrees, 1.5 degrees. Well, 1.5 degrees is 6. The 1 plus the 5, using their fucking math, Drakienta gematria, right, comes out to 6, which is the number of the man. These fuckers, right? So they need to save the environment. They need climate control. They need to make sure you don't say anything, and don't say anything that's anti-Semitic, like kike. That's not a slur. It's what they signed with. It represents the cycle, the circle, the Saturn, the whole bit. Do you understand? So the whole environmental movement is what? It's designed to save the Drakientas from their ultimate destruction. That's what is this thing they got? Extinction Rebellion? That's them. They're afraid of going extinct. They're the rebellion. That's why they're making this move to take over the world. Because if you kill off all your enemies, you don't have any enemies. And to them, with their psychotic behavior, everybody's out to get them, even though nobody's out to get them. So understand what you're looking at right here. It has nothing to do with anything with the planet. They're creating this shit so that it appears like, oh, the weather and all that, because they're trying to sell one thing as another thing. And this thing, I just found this. I'm sure you can figure that out. That's pretty neat, isn't it? And how do we know who's behind that? Because we can look right here. There it is. There's your little 6-pointed star, your Drakienta star, and here's that fucking finger again. So again, I just proved it. Climate change has nothing to do with this group of fucking lizards. Okay? 0. It's got to do with the cycle coming to an end, and they want to be on the top of it when it starts over. Just understand what the fuck you're looking at. There is no fucking climate crisis. There's a climate crisis with these fucking lizard fucks, these Dracs, which the word Drac comes from the Draco, which comes from the Draco star system. The Drakientas are part of the serpent cult. Right? The serpent cult. That's a snake or a lizard. There is nothing wrong with the planet itself. This is them trying to convince you. And now they want to start doing climate lockdowns. Really? If you're going to do a climate lockdown, then go lock down the fucking Dracientas, because that's what a real climate lockdown is. Fuck, I wish I could get a billboard and put this up. They would panic. They would fucking literally panic if you put this up. Fuck these scumbags. So here it is. Atlanta College reinstates COVID-19 mask mandate. See, I'm not going to last long in this, because the first time they try and do any of that crap, I'm wasting them all and they're going to take me out. I'm just telling you, that's just me. I know who's behind this filth. It's too big for me to destroy myself, so I'll just have to do it on what's called a microcosm. Just a little tiny bit. But that's it. You're going to do this shit to me, I'm going to beat the living fuck out of you. I'm going to beat you to death before the cops get there. Wearing that mask is Baal worship. It's what it is. It's Baal worship. Watch, I'll show you. Yeah, but you have to see this, because this machine doesn't lie. So this is the thing about COVID. It says everyday COVID decisions. Okay? And if you look down here, look what it says. Simon Van Baal. Are you fucking kidding me? Cut that out. What the fuck? So, this is the new thing for kids. It's an app for the school called Saturn. Isn't that wonderful? Isn't that special? Look at that there. And a mother's writing in saying, I don't like this thing. She goes on to say, so by the time she gets done with it, complaining about it, let me see. She said, the last thing I'll mention was the most surprising. Let's remember, I have not had to verify who I am at all. In the app, I am a 14-year-old, 8th or 9th grade, using a fictitious name. Within just a few hours, I had 3 friend requests from students, 2 girls, 1 boy. I'm not sure what the benefit of the friends is within the app. I did not accept their requests, so I can only speculate that could have happened at this point. I suspect we could have sent DMs and photos. They don't want you to upload photographs of yourself so they can prove that it's you. This is so they can get in and talk to your kids. Okay? And so I will show you my response to this thing. I said, LOL, you better wake up to who and what Saturn is. Philobiblis of the 1st century expressly assures us that Phoenician name of Saturn is Israel. So wake the fuck up, it's spyware. No, Israel ain't your friend. They ain't chosen and they ain't godly. Dump that shit immediately. Just being honest is all.
Middle of September, that the new policy's being written, that this is done. They were told this is happening. This is not hypothetical. You all have to wear a mask again, and so will airport employees. Then, by the middle of October, they are going to say that everyone flying has to wear masks. And in the meetings, people began to ask them, well, I mean, why is this happening? They said, well, because of the new variant in Canada and because of the WHO, they may, declare this, but regardless, we've been told this is going to happen. And then they were told, we expect by December a return to the full COVID protocol of 2020-2021.
Not with me, it ain't. I'll blow somebody in half with a shotgun. And you ain't sticking that goddamn thing up my nose because it touches your vagus nerve. So, they may have killed those kids. Maybe not even there. Or probably they did, because if it was a Holocaust, you have to burn the sacrifice there. Right? And I'm guessing this was a Holocaust. But I'm not so sure the kids were alive. They might have been sacrificed ritualistically prior to that. Again, I told you that's what happens to the mind of a child when they get sodomized. So when you look at that island, that was pretty much a paradise, and now it's a desert, it's ash. If you go to Paradise, California, that place, it was named Paradise, and now it's ash. So it's indicative, it's fractal of what they're doing here. But let's just assume the kids got murdered and they were there. What's with the fire? I told you that I think that fire's coming from underneath, and I think remember I told you about these crystals? So if you look at these fuckers, these Jews out of Mesopotamia, Masonry came from Judaism. Now, I don't know, I know a guy that's in Masonry. He's on this page. I'll ask him what they teach him, what this G is, but it isn't God. Maybe to the Jews it is, but it's not God. It's the Geonim, which is this word over here. Those were the Talmudic Jews that came out of Mesopotamia and Babylon. So if we separate this word, you get Geo. Well, what's the Geo? Well, the Geo is the crystal. The last part of it is Nim. I have a very good memory, a really good memory. Well, there was a movie that was made back in the 80s called The Secret of Nim, and these guys always weave stuff together. So they just changed the spelling a little bit, but it still goes along with what I'm trying to tell you. Oh, by the way, this is that Abramovich broad, but it's not really a broad, it's a dude. Look at the face. It's a man. Okay, this bitch is in all kinds of sacrifice and shit too. Believe me, she's not healed. Anyway, so what is the secret of Nim? What's the secret of the Geonim? Remember I told you those spirits were locked in those stones? Well, maybe it's not actually even spirits. Maybe, well, they're in league with something. A frequency or something down there. Because they just built that. That's in Ukraine. Which is interesting that they would put that up in Ukraine. Crystals sticking out of it. What is the secret of Nim? However, parents should be strongly cautioned that the story's tone frequency careens from cheerful to grimness, which may frighten children. The secret of Nim does not shy away from being downright terrifying, most notably during the gruesome flashbacks showing animals being tortured. And Gentile kids are animals. Remember I told you? That's why they can sodomize them, because it's an animal, it's not a kid. So it's okay for bestiality. Animals being tortured. And why? What have I told you continually over and over again? That mother needs power. She doesn't have any of her own. So in The Secret of Nim, they escape to live in an underground existence, stealing electricity from the farmer. Plans to generate their own electricity and be able to move. See, it's about power. It's atomic, but it doesn't have its own power. They're stealing it. Remember in The Matrix, in the first movie? Was the first or the second? Where he plugged into the bigger computer and destroyed the Matrix? Well, because that was like the bigger program didn't even know the other one was stealing shit off of it. So when he plugged into that, he went down and destroyed the Matrix. It's the same thing. They're stealing power by taking the souls. It's the same thing. Those crystals that are underneath there. See, did you know the diamonds have no worth? Are you aware of that? They have no worth. They only have worth because the Jews said so. And there was a song that came out in was it the 50s or 60s? You can look it up. And it's very telling. It says, diamonds are a girl's best friend. Well, yeah, but it's that girl. Right? And I'm not talking about Marlo Thomas. I'm talking about that girl. Mother. Diamonds are a girl's best friend. What does this fucking Talmudic Jew have on his chest? Crystals. When you apply pressure to a crystal, it puts out a tremendous amount of energy. And that energy can come out as in the form of heat. That's what I think is going on here. Now, because that shit is burning right in its own footprint. There's some connection between murdering them and these crystals. I don't know. Maybe the murder gives the energy to the crystal to create the fire. I don't know how this works. I do know that in writings, and I think is it the Book of Enoch, that those dudes are locked in atomite, which is like 100 times more dense than a diamond, so they can't get out. And let me just pull up a couple pictures here. So here, the walrus resists the face of heaven. Well, why does the guy look all fractal like a gem? And then here you have this. It says L, and you can see that would be like a diamond or some type of stone, but the entity is inside of it. But they're calling that L, they're calling that God? Their God? Now, when they talk about, these words always made me wonder. Canaanite. It sounds like a stone. Canaanite. Right? Ite. Not necessarily a people, but perhaps something different. Canaanite. So there's something going on with that, but I'm not going to go off on that. I think these crystals are where these things are at. I think the energy, they have to steal the energy, and I think they get it from the kids. That stupid Christian song where it says, when we've been here 10,000 years, bright shining as the sun, we no less days to sing God's praise than when we first begun. I don't think you want to be singing any God's praise. And you're bright shining as the sun, that means you're putting fucking heat off. You know, you better think twice about this eternal life shit. Because I'm not so sure that's a blessing. I think that's a curse. Because guess who else has got it? Vampires. And demons. Demons can't die. That's the old saying. Humans want to live and demons want to die. They just want to rest. What do they want to rest from? Because the energy is being zapped out of them. They're being used to create energy. There's something going on. That place, there wasn't enough accelerant there to burn that shit like they did. That shit came from the ground up. They wouldn't draw pictures like this, the walrus resists and all of that crap, and that picture like that, and I've got some other ones, you know. And if you want the rainbow colors, if you look through a prism, it makes a rainbow color. So those crystals would be the rainbow color. That's what they're tied into. Why would they put up a Holocaust museum for Ukrainians in Ukraine with crystals sticking out of them? And people putting their foreheads on them and meditating. See, there's more going on here than they're telling you. And the name for the fucking Masonic G is Geonim, which goes back to these Jews with these crystals on their chest. There's something going on with that, and that's how they're able to bring, that's how they brought, look, the World Trade Centers didn't fall because a jet hit them. They said, oh, gas poured down it. No, it didn't. The energy went up and caused the metal to fatigue, and they came straight down. That's why people were jumping out to some bitch, because they were being burned from the inside, but not from airplane fuel. You know, somebody had wrote that some people said that their tennis shoes had melted to the ground. That's energy coming up, not coming down. There's something going on with these crystals, and these guys are connected to it. And that stupid song, Diamonds Are a Girl's Best Friend, because Lucy in the sky with diamonds. But they're not in the sky. Unless they're referring to the stars, and then you get into the fallen angel stuff. It's like they're taking the soul power from the kids, and I don't know if they charge these stones or what they're doing with it, but it definitely has something to do with it. Because I know biblically stars, trees, and stones are fallen angels. So I'm just giving you kind of the geonim, and then what was the secret of Nim? They were stealing electricity, and they were torturing animals. Wow, maybe that's where they're getting the electricity from, by the torturing of the animals, which would be the non-Jews. These guys always got to come in with some bullshit. Watch how they pull this one off. So they're talking about the emergency warning didn't go off, so they left people asleep until they got burned to death. Watch.
People would have gone Mayuka Andaya said, using a word meaning to the mountainside. If that's the case, then they would have gone into the fire.
So they're saying if they would have put a siren out, people would have came out and they would have ran into the mountain, which is exactly where the fire was coming from. I'm pretty sure they would be smart enough to go the other way, but that's the excuse they used. But watch this.
So instead, you let them sleep until the fire was consuming their house, and they
Now watch. Watch right here in the corner.
were burned to death. Great. Great.
There she is. There's Mother. Right there. In the pink and the yellow and black. Right in the window. There she is. And that's exactly why that little thing is in the window. Because that's showing you that that's who that is. That's Kali, the goddess of death. You see how they pull that off? These fuckers don't miss a beat. And the average person has no idea. And this color, by the way, is saffron. And it deals with the sexual aspect. Again, atomic and sexual. That's why you had the bikini bomb test, which was a nuclear explosion. Or a woman is referred to as a sex bomb. See how they mix that all up? This was atomic and it was demonic. Period. And here's Mother Dearest right here in the window to let you know that she was on scene to collect all those wonderful souls. Thank you. Thank you, Dracientas. Wonderful, wonderful Dracienta Jew fucks. Pieces of shit. Filthy cocksuckers. Parasite on humanity.